Hi there, and welcome to Holfs Sea Fishing. You join me today where I'm going to be going onto a fishing trip to, well, I don't know where yet actually. It's a difficult time of year this year if you're trying to go out fishing and you're trying to target specific species of note, if you will, that you want to target effectively anyway. And done a few videos now where I've had a go for a general session on Easton where I had whiting and some surprise dabs, which was very good. I had a session where I went and fished at my local river for flounders, which was very, very good. And I've had a fishing trip to Abergele, to Pensarn, where I was targeting dabs with a good friend of mine, Steve, from work. So as we get more into the year here now, into the new year, we're going to find it more difficult to find things to target really, because we're going to be soon getting into the changeover from winter to summer or winter to spring and then summer species as such. So at the moment it's quite difficult, and to be honest with you, when I'm sat in by the fire now, as I think a lot of people probably are, it's quite difficult to make the effort to get out the door and fish because it's not easy fishing. And to be honest with you, the weather today, I work outside, as I've mentioned on a previous video. The temperature today in the day has been around about 5 or 6 degrees, but the wind chill on my hands have been red raw today, and I've put gloves on and things when I can, but that wind chill fishing outside, I mean, it's an easterly wind right now. That is enough to put anybody off going out to have a try during these colder spells. But I don't know about you. I really like to get out eventually because I kind of what we call climb the walls. And as much as I like the fire and I can watch a bit of TV, although I don't watch a lot of television, to be honest with you, um, I have to get out. I need some fresh sea air. I need some scenery. And ideally, I want to try and catch some fish while I'm fishing as well. But if I can just get out fishing, gets me out of the house, and I'm going to try my best anyway to catch something that I'm going to target. Now, I can't decide what to have a go for. And this little introduction, very briefly, is to show you that we don't always know what we're going to try and fish for until sometimes the day I'm going to go. All I know is right now is I've got some nice bait, I've got some nice ragworm, I've got my frozen black slugworm that I know works brilliantly, I've got some fresh mackerel, I've got some frozen sand eels, and I've got some frozen squid. So I know I've got bait. The weather I know is going to be cold, but I have got ways of combating that when I'm fishing, because obviously we're very static when we're fishing generally, and in the winter months, try to build a bit of a base almost as to where we can fish from, and getting comfortable is key. And having some sort of heat source if necessary as well, especially if you're like me, you do struggle with your hands. So I know I'm okay there. But the other thing I've got to take into account here, which is making it a bit more difficult for me to decide where to fish, as well as that horrible easterly wind that we're dealing with at the moment, is the fact that the tides are currently on a down cycle right the way down to, well, just about hitting the bottom of the down cycle of the tides and the heights, down to neap tides. And regular anglers will know exactly what I mean by neap tides. They're very, very bottoms of the tide cycle. They're very small tides. And the problem with these tides can be, for certain venues anyway, there's a lack of tide run and there can be a lack of depth as well. So it depends where you fish. Some of those types of tides, these neap tides, can fish particularly well in certain places. So, but on the general consensus, a lot of anglers discount the smaller neap tides because they do tend to be sometimes the more difficult ones to get some consistency, if you will, unless you're fishing in specific areas. So I've got a bit to contend with really in my mind as to where I'm going to fish. I know low water tomorrow daytime is around about midday-ish, give or take a little, depending where I go. And I know high water is around about 7 o'clock in the evening, something like that. So my intentions for this next fishing trip are going to be to sleep on it tonight. I'm going to enjoy my fire and keep staying warm. I might even break out a little bottle of beer. I know where they say that when the wind blows from the east, the fish bite the least, but I'm not going to be beaten. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to give it a go. And when I know where we're going to be going, I'll come back to you and we'll tell you the plan on what I'm going to try to catch. So we'll see you in the next bit. Okay, so we've decided we're going to make a move over to Anglesey this morning. Slept on it, couldn't really think about where to go yesterday, but I decided I'm going to go and have a go at Rose and I get a Cable Bay on Anglesey. We'll see if we can find an early ray, and we'll have a scratching rod out as well. But we're just about to set off, and yeah, it's pretty cold. It's going to be possibly a bit colder with that wind on us as well, but we'll see how we go when we get there. We'll bring you back when we're at the fishing spot. Okay, well, it's a beautiful, beautiful morning. I know where I'd rather be. It's out here having a try, that's for sure. At Tycroes. So yeah, we'll definitely give it a try, find somewhere to fish, and we'll see what we can get. But there's some nice rays of sunshine back there. So I'm just wondering, will there be any other kinds of rays from this nice blue sky on February 8th? Well, we can only give it a try. It's certainly nice to be out anyway. We'll give it a go. Okay, so to start us off today, we've had a long walk to get to our fishing spot, and we have some absolutely brilliant king ragworm to use. I will talk a bit more about this, but these worms are ginormous. I don't think the video will do it justice, but these are fantastic worms. I tend to get a mixture of big and small when I order from a chap called Ray. So I will talk about these again, but I'm going to put one of these on to get me started for a nice easy bait up for my first cast. And we're going to see what we're going to catch today. I'd say not the best time of year, but we've come to Anglesey, we've come to Tycroes. I don't know what war you want on the 8th of February, but it's so lovely down here, it's unbelievable, and I know where I'd rather be, I really do. But these start us off. We're going to get one of these on a nice panel set up, and we're going to get these cast out, and then we're going to get another rod set up as well. We'll show you that one shortly. So we have a very simple rig set up today, nothing complicated. We have a fixed paternoster rig as such. We have, which comes down on a rig body of around 80-pound line. We've got a swivel trapped. We then have a nice long hook length off that swivel, where the line is allowed to just flow, and we've clipped our lovely king ragworm just to the splashdown bait holder there, which will release that bait as it hits the water, that lovely bait as it hits the water. So we're going to get this cast in, get us a rod in the water, and then we'll get cracking from there. We'll come back to you shortly and get the other rod in as well. And on our second rod today, got my little Flatty Fanatic rod with me today, just for dropping in short. I know I've got quite clean ground in front of me. Let the lid move around, a little bit. I don't think there's going to be much current run, to be honest, anyway, because it's such small tides. But I've got some rag on and a couple of blanched worms to get us started as well on the infamous metal boomed rig, which I always use, as you may have seen if you've seen videos before. So we'll give that a cast out now on the Flatty Fanatic, and we'll see if we can get any interest in the coming casts. So we're on our first cast, and we have had bites on both rods so far, which is encouraging. There we go. A good old pull on that rod there on the Flatty Fanatic. Is interesting. Barrel rattle. I suspect maybe whitings, but you'll see. I've got ragworm there and the blanched lug as well. I put a Tinkerbell on that, as I always call them, just while I've been setting things up and getting myself organised. The problem with having a Tinkerbell on is if you need to strike something, they do sometimes ping off. Yeah, it's having a little go, that whatever it is. See if we can get that bell off there. Tell it off. So the targets today, well, firstly, it's very uneven underfoot here. If you do fish these sort of areas, these rock ledges, this is Tycroes, by the way. They are difficult to fish on, not for the faint-hearted. We're having a look at that, I think. Look at that. Yeah, it's definitely something having a little play. Have a little go. I have had a little bite on the bigger rod as well with the full king size ragworm. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think we might have something. So I'm hopeful we might have a blank saver of some description.
to get us started. So here I've tried to sort of place myself as close to the water as I can within reason, because ultimately I've got to be able to land a fish. And should I find something like a ray, which is kind of what I've come for today, then I need to be able to get to it because I'm on my own. I've got to be safe. As it is currently, I can definitely feel a fish on this, which is really encouraging. So this is first cast as well, by the way. This is a spot I haven't fished for a number of years. But honestly, today, it could be a summer's day today, it's unreal. There's definitely something on this though. I hope it stays on. I've only got small hooks on this. It's giving a little bit of a counter itself on the way in. That's for sure. I wonder what you are. What are you? You are a whiting. Haha, to get us started. Oh no, look. The blanched lugworm again. That's unbelievable, isn't it? Nice little ragworm on the bottom hook. And it's taken the the blanched on the top hook. So the hook there, something to get us started on the blanched lugworm through the lift there. We're going to get him back in the water and get the rod back in again. The other rod's due in a minute as well, and that has had action, so we'll see what else is about. But a good start, and we'll take that. It's avoided a blank. Not a bad size whiting either, by all accounts, really. Just in the lip. Other rod has had motion as well, which is encouraging. Go on, buddy. Off you go. Oh, yeah, look at that. Crystal clear water. Swam off lovely. Fantastic. Fantastic. So that's a blank saved first cast, which might be a whiting, but it was a nice size whiting. Yeah, we'll take that. First cast. The frozen blanched doing the business. Getting us off the mark. We'll see what else it's going to be about. So we'll get the rig refreshed with new baits. We'll get it recast and back in. Okay, so we're going to recast this rig back out. We may get played by whiting a little bit here today. I may actually keep one or two for bait as well. Quite a good bait for rays and things this time of year. Conger eels, bullhuss, it's a natural food source that's around. So it can mackerel around and things like that so much. So yeah, we'll see. Go back in the water. Lovely. Do perfectly. What they say here is very, very deep. There's no short of depth here, that's for sure. It is very, very deep. There we go, we touched down on the bottom. So there's no brakes on that one, so that one's just been allowed to sort of travel around a little bit in what little tide run there is, admittedly, because there won't be much on a very tiny tide like today. Well, that's fine. As I say, the sides aren't the best, but we're quite happy to be out having a go. And that is the key thing in my mind anyway, is to get out and have a try. It might not be the best time of year for a lot of species yet, but I would rather be out having a go. So on there, we've just put blanched the lugworm this time. I'm going to save my ragworm because I may well be having a little trip out later this evening as well, a little more locally to me. But as it is currently, I'm going to try and save a little bit of that king ragworm. It is a lovely, lovely bait. Just let the line settle, let the weight settle. The bow come into the line here. Probably you can see this on the camera. All I'm going to do then is I'm just going to just tighten it back up a little bit, just so as we can register the bites. You know, lots of fish with braid and things these days. But I'm a bit of an old hat. We've got a bite on the other rod there as well, I think. Yeah, I have actually. I did have a bite earlier on as well. I'm just wondering, is that possibly more whiting? It's quite a stiff rod, that bigger rod there. The Flatic Natic's a very, very forgiving rod. It's quite a sensitive rod, that one. A bit smaller. But the rod on the right there, that's a bit of a brute if I'm absolutely honest. To be honest with you, I have another rod which I use, which is also a Sonic. which is a little bit nicer than that one because that's almost a bit too heavy. I don't really use this rod very often. But my other two rods that I normally use are both, one's having a new eye repaired. Unfortunately, the rod fell over in my hallway of all places, so I've had to go fishing and broke the eye off right at the bottom of the eye. It's still biting there. It suggests possibly a white in that, to be honest with you. I'm going to get that in a minute anyway. And my other rod I had for a long time, and it's really in need of refurbishment. It's so used. Unfortunately, it's a pen rod, and the problem with the pen rods I always found, which I never got another one, is they seem to show all the marks that you get from resting it on the rod rests and things. Or if you should happen to lie it down, it seems to mark really easily. So that one's been refurbished, hopefully to a really high standard. It's away at the moment being done, so it's the first time I've had anything done like that with the rods. But I like to save them because they weren't expensive rods, and I've had them quite a long time. They've got a bit of sentimental value, I guess, and as such, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Although I am fixing it as such, but only kind of rejuvenating them a little bit because they're still perfectly good. So I'm not going to replace rods if I don't need to. And these two are kind of my two spares, so we'll see how we go with the two spares today. I'm going to get this rod in now, actually, because it's due a bait change anyway. I suspect there may well be a whiting hang on the end of it. You never know. We'll see how we go. So that little rod's gone back in. 1/4 past. We'll see if that gets any more interest. Okay, let's get the bigger rod in, I think. So this has had interest, as I say. This is the big bait. So this is the rod that I would like to get anything bigger on. Whether it be a ray or a Holfs or maybe a conger eel. To be honest with you, even a dogfish would do. Something a bit more weighty. I'm not going to complain too much. Whatever I get today. Looks like I've got something on here. Potentially another whiting, I think, to be honest with you. We shall have a look. What we've got. So beautiful here today. The water's crystal clear, blue, the skies are blue. Don't know what more you want, really. You just need to go out and go fishing if you get the opportunity. We've got something there. It looks like, yep, another whiting. There's a one whiting there. So we're going to get him back in just a moment. I'm going to get myself down again safely. As I say, negotiating these rocks can be tricky. But yep, just another whiting there. Put that ragworm. Nice little whiting. I'm going to get him back in and get some fish baits on now, I think, on our next cast. In fact, I might even keep him for bait. Okay, so this time we've still got rag there, and we've got some sand eel on as well. So we're going to give that a try on this next cast. Got a nice long hook snood, and we're just in that outside chance of a ray. That's what we're looking for today anyway, and anything else that might rate us with its presence. We've not blanked, we've had a fish on both rods now. So, as I say, it's absolutely lovely here today. Now time to get this spec bait out. As I say, it's not the easiest ground to fish off along here on Tycroes if you've fished it before. If you haven't fished it before, obviously if you've fished it before you'll know that already, but you're not very mobile. Don't come here, is what I would say. Let's get this little cast out. It was nicely, it's a good distance out. Tend to fish distance here mainly. Mine's still sinking. It's a heck of a depth out here, as I say. There we go, it's just touched. So we'll start getting some more fish baits onto the cast now. Even on the little rigs, I'll start putting little strips of mackerel and some bits of sand eel, along with the blank slug worm, and a little bit of rag as well. Let that settle down. Let that settle down, and then we'll just tighten it up a little bit. We'll wait to see if we get any more interest. Brilliant. Hopefully we'll bring you back some more fish. Yeah, so both rods are in now again. We're freshly baited. We've got a sand eel, as I say, on the bigger rod there now. We're going to up the baits a little bit. Shortly get some sort of bigger fish baits out to see if we can track the ray. I have had them this time of year here. Not had them over prolifically, but they've had them. The other bait I've got there, that ragworm from, well, it's actually from down Essex, from a place called the Bait and Tackle Centre. It's fantastic ragworm. I absolutely cannot recommend it enough. It's fantastic. They do fresh and frozen bait. I'm just going to tell you very briefly all about them because Ray at that place at Essex has never let me down. I ordered bait on Christmas week this year, and somehow he still managed to get it to me, even though the post was absolutely all over the place. And he's always sent me a good ragworm. Now, I generally tend to use my local tackle shop for bait as well as collecting my own. But sometimes, because I'm inland, I cannot get up to the coast to pick bait up from the tackle shop. And if you are in a similar situation to myself, where you kind of, if you will, are inland a little, it is handy to know somewhere online that you can get some bait which you can rely on that's going to be good quality. Because if you are paying for bait, which I try not to pay for too much out for bait, but I don't mind paying for bait if it's good quality. And I will put a link in this video description for you to the website where you can order this ragworm. He does sell fresh and frozen baits, Ray. His phone number is on there. You can text him, which is what I do, just to confirm an order, but I always order online anyway. But yeah, that King Ragworm from the Bait and Tackle Centre is fantastic. As I say, I do encourage people to use their local tackle shops if I have a chat to people, and absolutely do that in your area. But as of myself, if you are trapped inland a little bit, and for me to go to the coast and pick that bait up, one, I've got to have the time, which sometimes I just haven't got, working around work and family commitments. By the time I put the fuel in my car and give a quick drop there and got back, it's covered. The postage I pay on that bit of that lovely bait is covered anyway. I would have spent it anyway. So by all means, I do encourage people to do use your local tackle shops where you can. But if, like me, you do get stuck and you want some quality bait, have a look at the link in the description for the Bait and Tackle Centre. So we're going to leave these two rods in for a little bit now. We've both been in about 5 or 10 minutes. We're heading towards low tide. We're going to fish it over low tide and back up for a couple of hours. I'm not expecting, well, it's hard to say. You never know with sea fishing, especially sea fishing. I mean, if you're in a lake and you know what fish are in there, it's a different scenario, isn't it? But I'm literally on the south coast or southwest coast of Anglesey now, into the open ocean, and you never know what's going to come along. To be honest with you, on a day like today, on the 8th of February, I've not even got. I could take more than half if I wanted to. It's absolutely lovely. So if I can get a few bits of whiting, maybe some dabs or something on them smaller hooks. If I was lucky enough to pick up a bigger species, a dogfish, a ray, bullhuss, maybe a conger eel, then that would be absolutely a bonus. But you just never know what's going to come along. So we're going to keep refreshing the baits now, and I'll bring you back again, hopefully when we've got some fish. But we'll see how we go. But what a lovely, lovely day. You could not ask for better. Well worth the trip up. At my house right now, it is pouring down. So this is a winner. Okay, so we're getting a slack line bite here, which is looking good. This could be our target species. Getting this could be our target. Second cast in. We're definitely getting some movement here, which is looking very interesting, because that to me looks like it could be a ray. So it looks like it anyway. So it's not really comfortable on here, I have to say, but some of the fishing on these types of venues could be fantastic on Sundays. So the line's dropped slack. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen next, to be honest with you. I'm just waiting to see a little bit more of a definite indication. I'm trying not to pull the line in at all at the moment, because rays tend to settle on the bait. But there's definitely something going on there. And in fact, I've got a sneaky suspicion the rod's actually gone to the right as well. My weight has actually been moved around to the right, and the line's still dropping slack here. So I think, without further ado, it might be time to get this in. Just see if there's anything there. Only if you keep our fingers crossed, because it does look pretty positive, I have to say that. Let's just see what's going on. Let's just see what's going on. Let's find a good place to wind in, just in case we do have something there to try and land. This is about as good as it's going to get, really. Just a little bit there. Let's pull in and see what we've got. Something there. Yeah, I think there is. There's definitely something there. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, I hope I can get it in. This will be a ray. I would have thought if I can just get it. Oh yeah. This is definitely a ray. Got to be, surely. Surely. Oh, this will be fantastic. Oh yes, got to be a ray. Go on. Be a ray. See what we came for. I'm not sure if you can see me on the camera here, but I just hope I can get this fish in. This is the sand eel with a bit of ragworm combination, so if you know what bait going on next cast. Oh God, there's a good weight in this here now. Come on, my son. Come on, my son. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. It's so deep here. Oh God, don't come off. It's crystal clear blue water and I cannot see it at the moment, even now. Come on now. Oh God, don't come off. Oh God, there's the leader. Oh, it's trying to slag me. Oh, keep going. It's definitely having a good go at it. Go on, my son. Keep going. What are you? See ya. What are you? You are. Yes, it's a ray. Oh, just see if we can land it now. Being on your own here, it's not a massive ray by any chalk, but man, that is so nice to see. I just hope I can get it in to show you on the camera. It's so difficult to land stuff on your own. That is the issue you have sometimes. Let's just see if we can keep it in there. Oh, yeah, let's hope it don't fall in. Nice and shallow just here, though, I have to say. It's not overly deep, so we're all right. I've purposely come to here anyway. Right, come on, buddy. That's the other yet. Yes! Get in, second cast. Oh, dearie me. What an absolute cracker that was, getting that in. Oh my word, look at that. I've never been so pleased to see a ray at this time of year in all my life. He's beautifully lip hooked. Oh dearie me, that is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Get in. Woo! Right, so watch these thorns. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly get him unhooked. Just let go of the hook. Go on, buddy. Not letting go of that hook, are you, mate? Got it. Fantastic. Oh, there we go. There we go. What a cracker. I never weigh rays, I don't know if you can see that in the picture. I'm hoping you can. But that is shrunk himself up a little bit. Look at the thorns on that. These are lethal, these. Absolutely lethal. I don't know if you can see those thorns. But these, I don't know if you can see them on that tail. But these thorns are unbelievable. I'm going to put them back in now. But what a beautiful, beautiful mark fish. Fantastic. Sand eel and ragworm. He's underneath as well. Let's get him back in the water, shall we? What a beautiful fish. So chuffed to get that second cast as well. It don't get much better. Fantastic. Let's get him back. In fact, let's get a quick photo before we do. Let's get a quick photo before we do. Okay, so I just turned the camera off brief so I can get a quick photograph of him. Going to put him back now. What a lovely fish. Let's get him back. Whew. Off you go. It's lovely how they just kite off into the tide. Look at that go. Crystal clear water as well. Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely, 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 lovely. Let's get the rod rebaited and back in. Let's go. Well, doesn't time fly when you're having fun? Tide is getting towards low water, still about 40 minutes, I think, to low tide. But I'm going to recast this rod in after having that ray. I realised from started doing a few YouTube videos how difficult it can be to record some videos while you're trying to fish. It's quite time consuming actually, quite running backwards and forwards and things. So I'm going to put this bait back out. I can, same sort of area. Rays do move in packs like dogfish. I'll do it. I'm going to let that sink. Got the same bait on again that worked. That's the ragworm, king ragworm, and the sand eel combination. So I'm hoping I might get some more action from a ray, but the thing is, you know, don't over expect too much at certain times of year, and this is one of them. You know, go with an open mind. I come with the mindset of, you know, if I get a few whiting and dabs on the scratching rod, with a chance of a ray on this other rod, the ray bait out, then that'll be great. But as you can see, I was absolutely chuffed to land that ray, because, you know, I've made the effort to get out of bed this morning, travel up here. It's about, I don't know, maybe a 70-mile drive up. And it gets me out the rivers. Don't get me wrong, I like catching flounders, I like catching in the rivers, but I do like to get out into the open ocean. You know, that's kind of where I'd ultimately like to be, is at the open ocean. And if you're a seasoned angler, and you've been fishing on the coast a lot yourself, then you'll kind of probably know what I mean. I love this fresh sea air, and to get that ray with the views I've got today as well, absolutely fabulous. I mean, you know, I might be lucky enough to get another one, who knows, but if I don't, I don't. But I'll bring you back shortly. But that rag and that sand eel definitely got the right interest that we were after. So I'm going to get myself a cup of coffee now. Hopefully I can get a cup of coffee, and we'll see what you know, if anything else should show up. The whiting seemed to drop off, and that ray bite came in. So anyway, we'll keep on going, and we'll see what happens in the next few casts. Right, just some words of advice if you do come to fish Tycroes or anywhere like this. It is very, very difficult underfoot, and you know, you've got to be sometimes careful with the water as well. Today the water's very calm. You occasionally get a larger swell than unexpected, but I've never had any problems like that here. I know other parts of Anglesey you can get swells off the ferries and things. But yes, you really want. I mean, I'm in my thermal wellies today because I thought it was going to be really cold. Well, I say wellies, they're kind of more like boots as well, but you really want a good pair of boots for here, some good footwear to be safe. So, you know, this isn't for the faint-hearted when you come to somewhere like here. So this way, I know far easier places to fish where you can catch a ray, but with this scenery, this being in this sort of solitary environment, I know where I'd rather be. So yeah, if you do come to fishing like this, bear in mind, you know, that make sure you know your tide times. Make sure you've got good footwear on. Make sure you're going to be, you know, warm enough. I've got lots of layers with me today. I thought it was going to be a lot colder, but you better say I took my hat off before now because I've got that warm running about, and well, running about as such. So yeah, just be mindful that you are prepared. You know, you've got some good footwear and some layers on if it's going to be cold. And opposite to that, if it's going to be a hot summer's day here, because you could be float fishing for wrasse and pollock and things like that, make sure you got your cap, some sun cream on, because you will burn here. I mean, you'll get off the ocean, you get it from both angles. You get it from the top, and you get it off the ocean as well. You get that reflection off the ocean. So yeah, absolutely, yeah. So make sure you're prepared. Really pleased to get that ray before. Hopefully we might see another one. We might not. We'll see. We'll wait and see. But I'm certainly really pleased with the way that's gone now. Got refreshed baits back on again now, and we shall see again how we go. So I've had a little bite on the bigger baited rod. I don't think it's materialised into anything. Nothing's really changed on it since. So I'm thinking it might have been a white and have a little peck at it, but we'll have a quick look and just see, because the bait could do with being refreshed now anyway. As I say, sometimes you'll find when fishing for species, they do play doggo. Sometimes you could get a dogfish or a ray or a flounder or something like that, and often they can play doggo. I call doggo anyway. To me, they just sort of play dead almost. They kind of eat the bait and stay there and don't do a lot more, So let's have a very quick look. I don't think there'll be anything on, to be honest, but let's have a look. No, I don't think there's anything on this time. There's it's only small. Perhaps maybe a whiting if anything. Looks like there's something there, to be fair, but it can't be much more than a whiting, surely. A little tiny bite. There's definitely something there, though. I'm suspecting a whiting. Let's have a look. What we got? A little bit of kick in it, so a bit more than you'd expect from a whiting, to be honest, but perhaps it is a whiting, but let's have a look what we've got here. Staying down, there it is. That lead on that on. What have we got here? Whiting. It's hooked in the top of the whiting, which kind of means it's coming in towards us back first. Just why it probably felt a little bit heavier. Still felt like a whiting, as I say, but that's why it was kicking as well, as you can see. It's kicking away there, and we're going to get that unhooked and pretty much straight back in. Right, there we go. So again, another fish. That's fine by me, as long as we're getting fish. That is the main thing. Let's get him back in, shall we? He's trying to go like a good one there already. Let's get him back in. Come on, buddy. Let's get you back in the water. Oops, it's very lively. Very lively. Let's get you back in, buddy. There you go. Fantastic. To be honest with you, when you get a whiting stuck on like that, I mean, it's probably a little bit big, really, but when you have a whiting on the bigger hooks like that, it actually acts as a bit of a live bait, because I've often caught bigger fish and they've gone for a whiting that's been on the rig. It's hooked itself, and on the pennel hook, it's took the whiting and then he caught it on the pennel hook. So sometimes when you're fishing for bigger fish like rays or bullhorse or conger eels or whatever it may be, catching a smaller hook and another hook there as well on the pennel, sometimes it does work out that way, because it's happened on a few occasions. Right, we'll get this rebaited and back in. So on this next cast now, I'm going to change my bait slightly. I'm going to come away from the rag and I'm going to put sand eel and a squid wrap there. So I'm not using massive baits today. I don't need to use massive baits, I don't think. And they're harder to cast anyway. So yeah, sand eel and squid wrap this time. I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to get the little rod in as well and give that a rebait. But yeah, a change of bait sometimes can give you a change of circumstances, and a couple of casts after catching that ray now. So we're going to get that out. You'll see I've got this again clipped behind the weight, so in flight that will sit behind the weight. As it hits the water, splashes down, this will release, and it will then fan out on this big long hook length which I've got, and settle down away from the weight, so that the any rays that may come along, if we're lucky enough again to see another one today, won't settle on top of these spikes. Hopefully anyway, the hook length is a good few feet long away from that weight. So let's get back in and see if we can find anything else for us today. Oh yeah, we'll just get this casted in. That's it, right. There we go. Lovely. Get that sink. That was a good one. Let's see if anything else comes along. We've done really well to catch on this tide today, this ray. I mean, small tides, generally speaking, most will say that they're sometimes not worth even bothering fishing, to be honest, but it depends what you fish, as I've said previously, and to a degree what you're fishing for, I think, as well. So yeah, don't discount any size of tide, any conditions, as long as it's safe. If you've got an idea where you might be able to catch, then it's potentially always worth getting out to have a a little try. I'm going to get this other rod in now because I did have a little bite before. We'll get that in just now. So the tide has turned now. We're into the flood by about 20 minutes. So the ebb was quite satisfactory with a couple of whiting and that little bonus ray. Not a massive ray, of course, but gave a good account of itself on the way in. I thought I actually got to lose it, to be honest with you. So really, really pleased to land it and get it in and be able to show you on the camera. Trying to record and fish on this type of ground is very difficult. Quite tiring as well, running up and down, but it's well worth it. Really pleased to see that ray. So I'm going to keep going. We're going to give it probably another hour or so of the flood, and we'll see if anything else shows up on the flood itself. It's a tricky one because obviously you've had one fish very early on, but obviously you'd like to try and get something else as well. So that's exactly what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to persevere because where there's one, there's always a chance of another. So let's keep them crossed. So we're now an hour into the flood. I've just rebaited both rods again, but what I've decided to do is I've decided to take the scratching rig off the little Flatty Fanatic scratching rod. I've put a standard running ledger on there with a sand eel on it. Now, I might prove to regret that, but I'm basically going out for rays all out on both rods for a ray now, and that's purely for one reason only. Is because although I've had the scratching rig going out with ragworm on it, a choice of ragworm, lugworm, strips of mackerel, little half a sand eel, there's been no interest at all on that scratching rig since we've been on the flood for whatever reason. So the idea is now is I'm just gonna, because there's nothing small there, certainly at the moment, I've still got the scratching rig to one side. If I start getting little knocks, and I might flip that scratching rig back on. But for me, there's no point sticking a scratching rig out there. You know, the main fish I've come to try and catch, which I've been really fortunate to get already, which is brilliant, as you will have seen, is the ray. So I've now got both rods out for a ray. I mean, if I got a big ray on that little Flatty Fanatic, it'd be fun trying to get it in. That's for sure. So yeah, the plan now is I'm going to give it another hour or so, and then fish both rods as a ray bait, if you will, and we'll just see if anything else materialises. As it is, it's very, very quiet. There's not a touch. The bait's coming back in untouched. If it was summertime here fishing like this, you would be getting bait stripped by crabs. So at least I know I'm fishing two really good ray baits and they're not getting stripped by crabs or pest fish like whiting even at the moment, because even they're not about at the moment. Obviously being on these neap tides, there's less current run, so by the letter of the law, so to speak, you know, there's not as much tidal movement, so arguably there's not as much fish movement as well. So, but that said, I ain't complaining. I'm really not. As I said previously, it's a beautiful day here in Anglesey today. And for February the 8th, I can't believe how warm it is. I've had my hat off a couple of times and I get a little bit of the breeze again. But it's an easterly breeze today, and I think the temperature of it's probably about 6 degrees, something like that today. But I'm out of the breeze, I'm down a bit here, out of the way of it, and that's a key thing again, as I've mentioned in previous videos. Get yourself a bit of a base set up, get out those conditions. You know, if I was in that wind chill now, I certainly wouldn't be like this. You know, I would be properly wrapped back up again and scarf back on the whole shebang. So yeah, try and find yourself an area to fish which is protected, or if you can't get in an area that's protected so well from that cold winter winds, get the umbrella up if you can instead, and get yourself warm. Because for me, you know, I could fish here all day quite happily now. You know, he said that to me yesterday after I'd been in work outside all day, and it felt like -4 with the wind chill yesterday outside in work. It was bitter. And if you'd said I'd been out here today and feel like a summer's day, I'd have just laughed at you, because you know, it's unbelievable. It's lovely. Obviously, it won't last. I'm sure by later on today it'll be raining or what have you. But yeah, so prepare yourself. Get out there and have a go. Get fishing. You know, at the end of the day, it's, you know, if you've got time off at the weekend, you know, winter months, it's easy to sit in. I do it myself sometimes. I think, oh, you know, should I go and have a go? Get out there and have a go. You know, especially if you've got a bit of bait in the freezer. I've always got some bait in the freezer. I'm lucky enough to have a little bait freezer in the garage. You know, and through the summer months you can stock up on bait as well. You know, you can, if you don't pump lug, you can buy a packet or two as you go through the summer, get an extra packet, blanch it down like you've seen on my video. If you've not seen that, do have a look at that, how I preserve my lugworm. It's the best way to preserve it as far as I'm concerned anyway. But yeah, you can pick up extra packet lug, you can pick up an extra box of squid or extra packet of mackerel, or pick some fresh mackerel off the counter in supermarket and pop it in the freezer during the summer months, and by the time you come to the winter, you've probably built up a little bit of a stash. So it doesn't matter kind of what the weather's doing to a certain extent. You know, if you can find somewhere a bit of shelter, as long as it's safe, you know, you can get out and wet a line, and you just never know. Unless you get out there and fish and have a try, you're never going to know. And I was very, you know, I was a little sceptical whether I could get a ray today. I have had them here this time of year. They've never been very big ones generally, but I have had odd ones. So, and I think some anglers who are really good at fishing for rays, who know them really, really well, probably do better than I do for sure. But you know, if you just get out there and have a go, you never know. So yeah, we're going to persevere a little bit longer anyway. As I said, another hour or so of the flood. It's been very quiet on the flood so far, but hopefully something might just show up before we pack up and head away again. So we'll keep. So we've got a bit of a bite on the little rod. I took a ragworm on that. And dropped it a little bit closer in again. I've been trying to vary my distances a little bit anyway. But I think it's probably another whiting having a go. As you can see, it's a very tip-tappy bite, which is usually quite usually sort of, you know, with a whiting. The ray bite we had earlier just sort of slackened the line off, and then sort of brought it in a little bit. It slackened it off again. And the trick with the ray bites I've always found is that if they do that, is to not let them do it for too long, because as I found out years ago, the longer you leave rays to kind of mooch about with the bait like that, the more likely to swallow it, which is obviously not good. I have used circle hooks for rays with a degree of success as well. Well, I just prefer J hooks, just a personal preference really. Generally they don't swallow hooks, so I think sometimes if you leave them, then they will swallow the hook, which you don't want to do. So a bit of advice is you don't want to strike ray, you know, go to ray bites too quickly, too soon either. But sometimes I think anglers will leave them a bit too long, thinking, oh yeah, I might miss the fish if I do it. If I leave it, you know, we'll go and get it too soon. Just trying to find that happy medium, I guess. But that ray we've had today, that was perfectly hooked. It doesn't get much better than that, to be honest with you. It was perfectly hooked. Even though they have quite, let's call them dangerous mouths, because they can clamp down on your finger, they can do some damage. I was quite easily able to unhook that ray, and because it was just lip hooked as such. It's an absolute nightmare to swallow them, that's all I can say. So it was an absolute nightmare. Anyway, we'll see if this bite continues. Still going there a little bit, as you can see, I think. Still having a go, so I think I'm probably going to get that in shortly. And we'll see if there's anything on it. Okay, so that's the end of my little trip. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do give it a like, subscribe if you want to. If you want to see future videos, as and when I do get a chance to put one up, and make in some useful information. Really pleased with today's fishing trip. Really, really good. Really pleased to get that ray, and I'm probably sure you'll see on the video, it's all recorded okay anyway. It's been an absolutely beautiful day here on Anglesey, and what I can say to you is, yeah, get out and go fishing. All the best.